If Umar arm is seriously that hurt and he hasn't been sparring and he hasn't been able to, even if you're injured, I think he's not that injured. And
Tim Welch dismisses Umar Nurmagomedov's injury update ahead of UFC 311, questioning its impact on the fight. Joe Rogan thinks Umar Nurmagomedov can beat Merab Dvalishvili. He says Umar's confidence and skills will make the fight more exciting. Rogan also notes Umar's striking and kicking, which helped him beat Corey Sandhagen.
But that mentality is why that camp produces so many assassins. I was very impressed with Umar, very impressed, because I always knew he was an elite kicker. He's an elite striker too, but to see him fight a guy like Sandhagen, who's so complex, he does so many things well, and to see him dominate that fight, I was like, wow, that's really impressive.
Rogan says Umar Nurmagomedov is Merab's toughest challenge in the bantamweight division. He thinks after the Sandhagen fight, Umar is the real #1 contender, dismissing Merab's claim that he doesn't deserve the shot. Rogan also calls Umar the most talented fighter on the UFC roster.
Really love the guy. I think he's awesome. And especially after the Sandhagen fight, I think he's the most compelling contender in that division after Merab.
Yeah.
That's like as good as we have to offer today in terms of martial arts talent.
Ali Abdelaziz talks about Umar's confidence and readiness to fight anyone, including Merab. He emphasizes that Umar will prove himself by defeating Merab.
Champion, you have to defend your title against anybody. Marab does not dictate who he have to fight. The UFC dictates who you have to fight. As a champion, you have to dictate the fight. And I believe Omar is going to stop Marab. Me personally, because I know Omar now when he's 18 years old.
Bilal Muhammad says Umar Nurmagomedov is a special talent, and his win over Sandhagen shows it.
Yeah, 100%. Like, Sandhagen's one of my favorite fighters.
He's so good.
How good Umar did against him, and didn't have really any moments of difficulty in there, and I was like, he's a...
Tim Welch talks about Umar's arm injury. He says if it's bad, Merab could use it to his advantage and make the fight harder for Umar, but Tim still thinks Umar will win by decision in the end.
If Umar arm is seriously that hurt and he hasn't been sparring and he hasn't been able to live wrestle and live grapple against Merab, and Merab forces him into some scrambles and Merab's forcing Umar to carry his weight, then who knows? It could be a long night. But I think if I had to bet money on it right now, I would probably bet that Umar is going to beat him by decision.
Tim says Umar has a strong team, so if he couldn't train properly, they wouldn't let him fight. He believes Umar isn't as injured as people think and will be ready for the fight. He also mentions that even if Umar loses, he can still get another title shot later.
I think he's going to be probably more healthy and more ready than people think. And yeah, it's like I said, for these title shots, it's like for some people, you'll get one title shot your whole career, the rest of your life. For Umar, with his last name, I feel like even if he lost this Merab fight, he wins 2 more, he's back in the title picture. So I don't think that's the case. I don't think they're like, you're going to get one shot at this title, Umar, and you're never going to get one again, so you have to take it, even if you're injured. I think he's not that injured, and they're really confident with this match.
Chael Sonnen says he prefers not to know about injuries, but if he has to, he'd rather be told before the fight. He thinks knowing afterward feels like an excuse.
And I was a little bit relieved by it. I like it. I mean, if I'm gonna know about a guy's injury, I don't need to know about a guy's injury. But if I'm going to know, watch how I do this. See if this is cool. Are you ready?
Chael talks about how tough it is to get around athletic commissions. He explains that the process is thorough, with multiple medical tests and checks to make sure fighters are fit to fight. He emphasizes that trying to cheat the system is nearly impossible.
Stories behind the scenes of guys getting around the athletic commission, and if you did play that game, boy, you'd have to be good. Because the athletic commissions are good, and there's just multiple barriers. You need board certified, and then fill in the blank, to sign off with his medical number. And they do have a department that follows up on damn near all of those. Like, if you think that you're gonna get away by putting down a number or forging a signature, not only will you not get away with it, you will never fight again if you attempt to lie to an athletic commission with a dishonest
Chael shares a story about fighters using a fake stamp to forge medical records in the late 90s. They got away with it for a while, but eventually the commission caught on when they noticed multiple fighters had visited the same doctor on the same day. As a result, the fighters involved were banned for life and never fought again.
It was Dr. Romanowski, and it was signed on, and they got away with it. They got away with it many times. And the only reason they got caught is this guy that had the stamp was so proud of him damn self that he starts doing all the fighters, and the athletic commission starts realizing y'all went to the same doctor on the same day at the same address for absolutely everyone. It was one of these things where they're going through the forms. They got 20 guys, and of the 20, 14 have seen the same doctor on the same day at the same location. That's how they got caught on that.
Merab says he's ready for tough opponents. He mentions Nurmagomedov's skills, but is confident in his own abilities and determined to prove himself.
Exactly. I'm gonna show Georgian wrestling and Georgian toughness, and I'm gonna break the guy. It's gonna be a great fight, you know.
Merab talks about his goal to become the best in the world, focusing on his training and mindset. He wants to keep improving and not get distracted.
It's gonna be a great fight. You know, Umar is a good fighter, but usually when I fight against good fighter and against tough fighter, I always show up, and as long as I'm healthy, I'm good and I'll be fine. It's gonna be a great fight. I'm not accepting any easy fight from Umar. You know, as a fighter, I always respect him.
Davison Figueiredo thinks Merab Dvalishvili's got a good chance to pull off an upset against Umar Nurmagomedov in the first UFC title fight of 2025. Even though Dvalishvili is the champ with a 12-fight win streak, he's the underdog in this one. There's a lot of hype around Nurmagomedov, but Figueiredo, 24-4 and 1 MMA, 13-4 and 1 UFC, thinks the belt's staying with Merab. Figueiredo added, "I'm leaning towards Merab." Figueiredo told MMA Junkie through an interpreter. His striking's not great, but he tires people out and confuses them enough to get them down. Umar's dangerous with submissions from the bottom, so Merab's gotta watch for that. But after 5 rounds, I see Merab winning. Figueiredo's watching UFC 311 closely. He might have been next in line for the winner if not for his loss to Petr Yan in November. Still, he's not giving up on his shot at the belt. He's open to going back to flyweight for a rematch with Alexandre Pantoja. "I'm focused on the 135 belt," Figueiredo said. "I've got some adjustments to make. I'm gonna reinvent myself and get that title." Luke Thomas talks about Umar Nurmagomedov's solid skills and undefeated record. He mentions how Umar could be the future of the bantamweight division and highlights his dominant style and potential.
Figueiredo had a nice win streak, but it came to an end. Jan has kind of already tasted the title, and the win over Figueiredo was fantastic, but it just wasn't necessarily enough at the present moment. Umar has the Nurmagomedov name. He's undefeated, and he brings in, I think, a very, very difficult style for Merab. Merab can win that fight. Again, the guy attempted nearly 50 takedowns against Petr Yan when they fought. He has a motor like I've never seen in MMA, but there's a level of refinement and polish, both in the stand-up and in particular some of the wrestling and scrambling game of Umar Nurmagomedov that's going to be, I think, a big problem for him.
Thomas talks about how Umar's performances, especially his win over Raoni Barcelos, show he's ready for top competition. He points out that Umar's dominant style makes him one of the top prospects in the division.
At bare minimum, a difficult challenge one way or the other. Fantastic fight, and you could get the coronation of yet another Nurmagomedov holding a title. Remember, Usman Nurmagomedov holds a title currently over in PFL or whatever you want to call that. So now you might get one returning to the UFC this whole time. And of course, Islam Makhachev, part of the Nurmagomedov kind of empire, not sharing the name, but part of the team. He also is our current title holder. Would be very, very impressive if they can make that happen. I don't know what the odds are on this. The news is so new, we haven't seen it yet. But that's a hell of a fight. That's a fun fight. Umar's stats to this point, if I may, very quickly, I'm going to pull this up here. Again, he has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 wins in the UFC, undefeated. Obviously, he got a decision.
Lucas Tracy expressed doubts about Dvalishvili winning even 1 round versus Umar Nurmagomedov, predicting a 50-45 win for Umar. He based this on Dvalishvili's performance versus O'Malley and Nurmagomedov's strong record. Tracy views this as one of Dvalishvili's toughest challenges.
Picking Umar Nurmagomedov to 50-45 Merab Dvalishvili at UFC 311 to take every single round from him. And yes, a big part of that has to do with Merab's last performance. And it also has to do with Umar.
Sean O'Malley predicted Umar would likely win versus Merab Dvalishvili, praising Umar's unique skill set. He acknowledged Merab's physical strength, but stated Merab lacks standout skills beyond that.
Do you think Umar would beat him?
I do think Umar might beat him low-key, which kind of, I mean, it is what it is. We'll see where I'm at, or where the division's at when I get back, but I think Umar definitely could beat Merab. He's fucking not, like, great. He's just good. He felt strong, but his skills didn't feel, like, great. He just felt stronger than me, and
Kamaru Usman praised Umar Nurmagomedov's mindset and approach, relating to the challenges Umar faced early in his career. Usman expressed support for Umar, wishing him success as he rises in the bantamweight division and follows his family's MMA legacy.
Where you're at, and I like the way you think about it, because I was in a similar position to where I wanted to fight with Wonder Boy at the time, and they say the same thing to me, don't deserve it. And I wanted to fight with everybody in the top 5, and they say the same thing to me, you don't deserve it. Don't deserve it. No, I don't want to fight him. I don't want to fight him.
UFC President Dana White has been clear about wanting this fight to happen. He thinks the tension between Merab and Umar will make it an exciting matchup. White is confident both fighters will perform well in the octagon. The UFC has been promoting this as one of the most anticipated fights in recent history, with fans eager to see how their rivalry unfolds in the cage.
Do you think there's a chance he's kind of intimidated by this Umar fight though, right? He seems to really not want this fight, or doesn't feel like Umar deserves it. Do you think there's some mind games going on here, or do you think Umar may be in his head?
Listen, I don't think that any of these guys are afraid of anybody. I'm sure there's certain guys they'd rather wait to fight, and they all have their reasons or whatever. But to say that Merab's fighting people in the stands, okay? Merab would get in a fight in the middle of the fighter section. That's why we moved him over to the left. So I wouldn't say that any of these guys are afraid of anybody or any fight. But fighters are a paranoid bunch. There's always some conspiracy against them, whether it's us or other people, or we make fights that people want to see. They win or lose the fights on their own, but they are conspiracy theory. They always think that somebody is against them, and maybe that's what they need to do to have that mental thing to go out and do what they do.
Adrian Yanez points out that Umar Nurmagomedov has a completely different style. He says Umar waits for the perfect moment to end the fight quickly, comparing him to an assassin. In Adrian's view, the fight is too unpredictable to call a winner.
Umar is looking to control the position and looking to find ways to get the fight and finish the fight.
Henry Cejudo shared a memory of Umar Nurmagomedov before he joined the UFC, already drawing attention from top fighters. During his prime as a 2-division UFC champion, Cejudo noticed something distinctive about the young talent, and he recalled being impressed by Umar's early promise, recognizing a quality that suggested he was destined for greatness.
I remember this, and it's on video too, so it's with the anatomy of a fighter. I remember I looked at Umar, and he was sitting down, and I'm like, and this guy right here, I got my eyes on this dude, and then it's on film. Because I'm saying that I knew that you were the future. Eventually, you weren't even in the UFC yet, I think, at that time.
Yes.
But I knew that there was just something special about you. The first time that I kind of rolled with you in San Jose. And
Javier Mendez said Umar Nurmagomedov had trouble getting a fight. They thought he'd face Song Yadong on December 14th, but it didn't happen. Umar just wanted to fight before Ramadan, no matter who it was. Then out of nowhere, Mendez heard Umar's fighting on the same card as Islam for the title. It's short notice, but Mendez thinks Umar's ready.
Be a new bantamweight champion, and it's gonna be, a Nurmagomedov, little Umar, little ego, young ego.
Father's plan, right?
Yeah, father's plan. Yeah, little Umar's he's gonna do it. I feel really comfortable with that, and he's got a really super tough champion in front of him, and it's not gonna be easy by any means. But I believe we're gonna do it.
Mendez said Umar's a beast. and confident, doesn't care who he fights. Umar's undefeated, trains hard, and knows his skills. He said Umar's mindset and discipline make him dangerous. Even with short notice, Mendes believes Umar's fully ready.
The champ's got great grappling. Well, we do too. You know, he's got okay striking. Well, we have great striking. So decent submissions. We have pretty good submissions. So we're good in every area that he can bring, we can bring also.
And I know after the Corey Sandhagen fight, that was for the #1 contender fight, but these past few weeks, a bit of a whirlwind where it seemed like he may be fighting Song Yadong, and I did speak to Song Yadong a few weeks ago in Sacramento, and he told me,
when can we see you back? You know, the fans miss you.
Yeah, probably in January.
Yeah, oh yeah.
I want to fight the card in LA? Los Angeles.
Yeah, LA, 311, right?
311, yeah, 311.
Awesome. Yeah, I spoke to Uriah, that's what he told me.
Yeah, if Umar take the fight, yeah.
Do you think it's gonna be Umar?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
John Wood is impressed by the team behind Umar. He admired the preparations while focusing that things outside of the UFC cage seem different and anything can happen. He stated, Umar and Khabib and all those guys, we obviously are fighting guys that are going to come in prepared. They're going to come in prepared as best as they possibly do. And that is also humanly possible. They will be prepared for whoever is against them, but while standing across that cage, there is just something different. And that's why you see and you hear guys after they fight more like, oh guys, he was stronger than I expected. Adrian Yanez describes Merab as a relentless fighter who breaks his opponents mentally during the fight. He explains that Dvalishvili sometimes creates an opening on purpose, only to take it away immediately.
Merab, he doesn't care. He will let you back up just so he can take you back down. He doesn't mind that at all, just because he knows he can mentally break you that way.
Merab believes Umar isn't ready for a title shot, having only beaten Corey Sandhagen, a top 15 fighter. He feels Umar's rise was too quick and doesn't see him as a big challenge, though acknowledges his skill. Merab says fighters must beat top contenders to earn a title shot.
I'm not afraid to anything, you know. That's why it's interesting and challenge for me to when I'm thinking Peter Yan is dangerous and I'm gonna fight him, and if I beat, and when I beat, I was so happy, and of course it's more even enjoyable. The same thing Jose Aldo, he was legend for me and I beat him. Wow, like it was even better. Same thing you, Henry, you huge and you good, and yeah, you beat me first round, and when I next 2 rounds I win, and then it was good, you know. I like these big challenges, but I don't see Umar Nurmagomedov big challenge. Yeah, maybe he's good fighter, but #1 thing, he don't deserve title fight because he's been fighting nobody's, like just right before fight he beat debut guy.
Merab dislikes how Umar was pushed up the ranks due to family connections. He respects fighters who've earned their spot through tough competition, like Kamaru Usman, but feels Umar's rise was unfair.
I know, but I don't like hype, and I don't like because of you somebody's cousin, and that's why you got pushed, you know, because we all earned to get here, and like you Kamaru, you get a hard time. I remember they wasn't give you a title fight long time. He was chasing, yeah, like other guys too, but yeah, Umar just get pushed, and that's a little bit like unfair. That's all, you know.
Umar responds to claims he's pushed due to his name, pointing out fighters with just 1 win, like Corey, get title shots, so he deserves his shot. He notes UFC makes fights based on pay-per-view potential, not just merit. Umar doesn't care about Merab's opinion, saying if they fight, fine. But Merab doesn't deserve it. He's focused on his goals and will fight whoever's in his way.
I think it's like a lot of champions fights happen like between guys who just have 1 win streak. For example, O'Malley, he fight with Chito, right? And he just lose Corey, beat Pedro Munoz and fight for the title. It means you have to deserve just 1 win streak. And in UFC, you don't need deserve fights for the title or for something. If this fight will sell pay-per-view, if it's gonna be, if people love it, it's gonna happen.
Nurmagomedov acknowledges his name gets attention because of Khabib, and people are interested in his fights for that reason. He mentions the UFC pushes fighters with big names to build new stars, which is why they focus on him.
About my name, of course, everybody know I'm cousin Khabib, and everybody interested because of, you know, even me, when your brother fighting, I watching his fight because of his Kamaru Muhammad, right? And everybody know his fight Kamaru, and everybody interested how he will fight. He's same, not same, what he doing. He not opening America for people, no. Of course UFC will push someone who have name. They no need to build someone new one. Nurmagomedov, not someone different. Everybody know Nurmagomedov, and it's true.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss an update. Drop your thoughts in the comments below and let me know what you'd like to see next. Catch you in the next video.